Hey everybody, welcome to this special bonus mini episode of Nintendo Therapy. I basically couldn't wait to talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza, give my first impressions, and also I figured, you deserved another bonus episode before we come back. We took the last 2 weeks off, but we're going to be back with our normal episodes at the end of the week, talking about the latest Nintendo news and rumors and whatever else there is with Nintendo going on. Anyway, so Donkey Kong Bonanza, Nintendo's, latest Grand Slam home run of a first-party title. They don't miss, as the kids say these days. I've now had a full weekend to sink in about 6 to 8 hours of play so far, and I have a lot of thoughts. So if you're curious if this game's for you, let's dig in, or punch in, I guess. All right, like I said, I've only spent like 6 or 8 hours so far with Donkey Kong Bonanza, which, I think is enough to give an opinion. It's definitely probably only like a fifth of the way through the game, if that. But it's enough where I understand where this thing is coming from. So I already feel like what this game is, it's Nintendo playing the hits, but in a good way. Like, I'm not saying that in a way to insult the game, like, oh, they're just playing the hits. Like, no, it feels like they took little elements of everything that worked for them on the Switch and said, we're going to make that our first big Switch 2 game. Although they probably also had faith in Mario Kart, but you know what I mean. Their first platforming Switch 2 game. So it also kind of feels like, since it's the Odyssey team, I haven't seen anybody bring this up yet. Maybe they haven't played Odyssey in a while, but at the end of Mario Odyssey, spoilers for that like 8-year-old game, there's this finale where Mario Odyssey has the Cappy feature, and you capture different enemies, and you assume their powers. At the end of the game, you throw Cappy on Bowser, and you become Bowser. And what you do as Bowser is you just start tearing everything up. Like, you just start destroying everything in your path, and then the music starts kicking in, and it's like this awesome finale. It feels like they saw that and said to themselves, I'm gonna make that into a game. Like, I'm going to develop whole mechanics around just wrecking everything in sight, which I think a lot of people knew that could be a game back then. Like, I'm not trying to toot our own horn here, but that is something we've said on this podcast in the past. Last time I did a playthrough of Odyssey, I was like, I want a Bowser game where you just destroy stuff. And this is basically it, except you're Donkey Kong instead. So it totally feels like they took that. I'm not saying they took my idea, but it totally feels like they took that idea and they did it, and it's great. But other things it has in it, so it's got Odyssey's like level design and art style, and it's the same team, and it's being heavily compared to Mario Odyssey. But it also kind of has exploration of Breath of the Wild in it, in that in Odyssey you couldn't just like climb any surface or like see something and go there. That's more like Breath of the Wild in here. Also with like sky islands and caves, so that's a little Tears of the Kingdom in there. And then like you've got character customization straight out of the Mario RPG franchise. I don't know. I don't think any of them specifically had a skill tree, but the clothing and everything, it's very similar. I don't know. It's just like, this game is something where there's no ideas in it really that you haven't seen before, but this is the first game to kind of put them all together. It's also got that Minecraft layered thing going on. It's just got so much of what worked for other games in the past, and it just did them all, and it put them in a neat little package, and it's just fun. I know that's just a cop-out way of reviewing things, to be like, it's just fun. It's like, give me a reason it's fun. It's kind of hard. It's just like it's hard to give that reason. I can't come up with it off the top of my head. It's just, you get that dopamine from smashing stuff, and it always feels good to just destroy everything you can see. So let's get into the gameplay hook. So the clothing system here, let's talk about that, comparing it to Odyssey. It's especially clever in my opinion. You don't capture enemies like you did in Odyssey. That's not in the game. So giving Donkey Kong different abilities through his clothing is a smart evolution. It's not exactly the same thing because you don't become a fish, but let's use that as the example. I've heard some people say that Mario, his outfits should have been able to do this back in Mario Odyssey, and why didn't they think of this then? I think they probably did think of, can the clothes do us something here in Odyssey? It's not that far off from any game where you equip different outfits. They're either going to give you buffs or they're not. And I think Odyssey was perfectly built around the cappy mechanic. So this one doesn't have the cappy mechanic. It has its own rules, and the buffs on the clothing make sense here. If Mario needed to swim faster, we'll continue with that example of the fish, he'd just turn himself into a fish. In Odyssey, it makes sense. You want to, they would just put an enemy with the ability you needed near where you needed to do that thing. Here, Donkey Kong, he can't turn into a fish in this game. So you get an outfit for swimming faster. And that's, I think, why this game needed those buffs more than that game. It's more comparable to Zelda, where the different armors had, the Zora armor helped you swim. I'm going to stay on the swim analogy because it's the easiest one to visualize, I guess, for me. So it's more like how the different armors in Zelda, someone give you a stealth bonus or things like that. So yeah, I like that. It's honestly just it's kind of funny that a lot of people are talking about that element of the game. At least in my algorithm, they are. Everyone's is different. Because I honestly feel like it's one of the parts of the game I pay attention to the least. I'm not really out there trying to find the next new outfit for DK. I'm more interested in the skill tree, but we'll get to that in a second. I want to talk about another thing that I have a note here about that it really impressed me with this game. And what it is I love anytime this is a brand new game. Obviously, I've never played it before. And yet somehow it is giving me a nostalgia feel, like the type of thing I get from throwing Mario 64 back on and playing through that. Maybe it's the time of year, maybe I don't know, but it takes me back to summer breaks with games like Banjo-Kazooie and Mario Sunshine, Conker's Bad Fur Day. What else? Early Spyro. I'm trying to think of different platformers, but you get the idea. It takes me back to being a kid and having summer vacation from school and the kind of titles where you wander around and you're just soaking in every part of the level because it's your summer vacation and you don't have a job yet because you're a kid and you get nothing else to do and you're just soaking all that level design in and being like, oh, what's over here? And I don't know, I actually get disappointed when the game tells me I can move on. That's how much I'm soaking in the environments, because I'm like, no, I've got a couple of more hours of secrets to sniff out here. I don't want to move on to the next level. I don't care if I unlocked it. There's more bananas here. I know there are. So yeah, it gives me a nostalgia hit, which is funny for a game I've never played before. It makes me nostalgic it totally throws me back to that mindset of back when you would have those early sandbox platforming games, and I love it for that. I feel like part of that might be because I don't think they make enough of these games anymore. There's not a terrible amount of them, especially AAA ones. So let's get more of these out there, guys. It doesn't have to be Mario every single time. This game is proving it. So let's keep going. So back to that skill tree. That's the motivator for me, not the clothes. That's my motivation. I love stat progression systems like this. And in the beginning, I was a little nervous that you wouldn't be able to max everything out, but I looked it up on the internet, and I guess you can. There are enough bananas in the game to max out every single stat, which that's something that always bugs me when games don't let you fully upgrade your, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. We'll keep coming back to that. I'm still kind of salty that you have to choose to either fully upgrade your stamina or your health bar. Aren't you only off by like 2 hearts? When something like that, like, was giving us the extra 2 hearts going to make us that much overpowered? Like, I really wish they made it so that you could max out both in that game. But here you can. The skill tree, you can buy every single skill, which is great, perfect. You can have a fully maxed out Donkey Kong. I grabbed the Amiibo. That's another thing. It was not a nightmare to get, which I thought it could be. But literally, it wasn't even the day of the game, just because I was busy this weekend. So I got the game digitally. Sorry. That way I wouldn't have to go to a store and buy it. And I had it right away. So I played it like an hour that day, and then like another hour the next day. And then I finally found some time to dig out a couple of hours to play in the next 2 days. So anyway, I don't know why I'm saying that. Point is, I got the Amiibo, and I've seen some people online complain about the price for it. This is going to sound like a weird contradiction. I honestly don't mind paying that much for the Amiibo if they did a little more. So I do agree that for what it does, it's kind of, but I don't know, I bought it, so I obviously can't care that much. I just wish, I don't know what the sales figures are on Amiibo for Nintendo, but I feel like they'd sell a lot more of them if they did more things. And I don't know why they don't have it just like open up a full cheat menu and give you a whole bunch of stuff. I know it's a controversial topic to have content in the game locked away from people who paid full price for it. So I know that's an argument against Amiibo, but I don't know. It's more like DLC, which we've all gotten used to that idea at this point. So I honestly just wish the Amiibo did a little bit more than unlock an outfit and give you things to throw that explode. So yeah, Nintendo, work on your Amiibo game, because I love collecting them and I love filling my shelf with them. I just wish I had more reason to grab them off that shelf and use them while I'm playing the game. So yeah, but I'm glad they were, at least in my area, in supply. I started to say that a second ago and then I got thrown off track. I'm glad it wasn't a nightmare to find that Amiibo. So much stuff with everything lately, not even just Nintendo, has been a scalper nightmare. That it's just refreshing when things are actually in stock. I didn't even have to struggle. I think it was Monday or Sunday, somewhere in there. I just randomly checked my where did I get it? I can't remember. Anyway, I went and I bought it, and they were plenty on the shelf. Is my point. It's not like there were 2 or 3. I remember they were fully stocked with these things, which some people on the internet now want to use as evidence that something is failing. I'm like, no, it's not failing. They're just meeting. They have enough supply out there to not create a scalper culture. So let's move on to how you advance through the game. Odyssey had moons. This has banana gems, which I'm just going to call bananas because why not? I know they're not bananas. They're banana gems, whatever. I'm really curious in the next few months to come. I want to see how people feel about this game's collectible pacing, especially from people who thought that Odyssey had too many moons. That's really the biggest dig I see people throw at Mario Odyssey. Dig, because we're digging in this game. It's subconscious. It was in my mind. People, I'm not one of them, but there's people out there who think that Mario Odyssey was just handing out too many moons like candy. I actually like that Mario Odyssey is like that, because that's the first game in forever that gave me this thing I was talking about earlier, where I was happy to explore and I had this great sense of exploration throughout the game, because the game is constantly rewarding you with things. So I feel like these might be a little better hidden, but you're still constantly being rewarded for exploring. So I would love to know if people who thought Mario Odyssey had too many moons, if you think that Nintendo got it right this time, or if you think this game has the same problem. because I'm the wrong person to ask. I didn't think Odyssey had that problem, so I would love to know. I think it might be a better balance, though. I think there might be a little more involved. Like, there's no, at least so far that I can think of, a banana that you get for literally just like jumping in the correct spot, like like the moons had. Or there were some really easy ones in Odyssey that required almost no effort. But the thing is, it's not the effort that I feel like was being rewarded. It was the exploration and going. This isn't an Odyssey review. Let's keep going. I've made it no secret on this podcast that I've never really been that into Donkey Kong. Sean is the Donkey Kong one on this podcast, so he's going to love this game. But I've never really been that into Donkey Kong. I've always been into Nintendo more of the way of, obviously, Mario and Zelda, because everyone loves them. I played a few Kirby games growing up, like Kirby and the Crystal Shards. Sean and I played, we called it Kirby Golf, but it's Kirby's Dream Course. Relentlessly, just would not stop playing that game. I was huge into Star Fox right up until Star Fox Adventures. So that was like a big franchise for me. Donkey Kong, though, of all the Nintendo titles, has never really been my thing. I don't know why. It wasn't my franchise. But I was thinking about it, and not only is this game getting me interested in going back and exploring all those older titles, also mixed with the fact that this year I played Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair, which is done in the style of the old Donkey Kong Country games. So I'm like, oh, well, if I liked that, maybe I finally get it now, you know? So my point is, not only is this making me want to go back and play more of the older DK games, but it made me think that Nintendo is in a really good position right now. The fact that this system is backwards compatible and all those Switch Donkey Kong games are there. I'll bet I'm not the only one who's going to go and play Tropical Freeze or Country Returns or something after this. It's going to be a bunch of other people who are like, oh, I never really thought about Donkey Kong, and now I'm in the mood. So good for them. I bet we see a bump in those game sales. Anyway, my final thought here is, so far, Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's not introducing too many brand new ideas. It's combining a bunch of Nintendo's best ideas into one lovable package. And if it keeps up this momentum, it's going to become one of my go-to summer games. It's got that tropical feel because it's Donkey Kong. It's perfect in there. I've said before on our show that Mario Sunshine is another great one to play in the summertime. So this might pair in there. We actually did an episode, now that I think of it, a long time ago on our favorite summer levels. So go back and check that one out. I saw people online saying, the story, this and that, like, oh, it doesn't line up with Donkey Kong continuity. That doesn't bother me even in the slightest. It's just fun, guys. This game, you're going to see people struggle to explain why, because it's kind of like explaining why it feels good to make a really difficult jump in a Mario game. It's just you get that dopamine hit every time you discover a banana, or not even a banana. There's so many things to collect in this game. Like, they have these treasure chests that aren't in fixed positions. They randomly generate while you dig. And every time you find one of those, it feels great. They have treasure maps inside that help you find the other things that... Oh, let me talk about the in-game currency. That's another thing they improved from Odyssey. So Odyssey had the purple coins. And the way they really improved that here is it's not just a lot of the purple coins were just sitting out, like a normal coin would be in a Mario game, and you just ran into them and collected them. Here, the currency is these fossils that are in the dirt that you dig through. And they're not randomly generated. They're in fixed positions. And you just have to do more to collect them than run into them like the purple coins were. You have to find them in a cave, and it's another thing that's rewarding your sense of exploration. So that it's just a common criticism of big open world games is that, and Breath of the Wild had this said about it as well, there's not enough to do. It's just a lot of empty space, things like that. This is how these games, and I know this game was in development for like 9 years, so maybe people can't always spend that much development time, but still, this is how you do that, is you have to reward the exploration, and it can't just be rewarded by you seeing like, oh, that's a nice looking fountain, or like, oh, that's that this tree looks like a nice campsite. Like you have to like give the player something for choosing to explore every nook and cranny, and this game does that. More games need to do it in the future. So I guess that's a good place to end. That's it for this quick check-in. You can expect me to sprinkle more thoughts of Donkey Kong Bonanza throughout our normal podcast episodes as I continue to play. I'm sure the week that I finish the game, I might have a bonus episode or maybe just talk in the regular episode about my complete thoughts. But after my first weekend, that's everything I got rattling around in my brain about this game. If you've been playing it too, hit us up. Let us know what you think. Are you loving the exploration? Does the skill tree have you grinding for bananas more than buying clothing in the game does? Are you one of those people that thought Odyssey had too many moons? Any of these questions, let us know down below. And hey, you know what I don't say on here enough? Like and subscribe, and be sure to leave a review because it really helps the show. Anyway, we'll be back soon for our normal Nintendo Therapy episodes. Thank you so much for listening to me basically just turn a microphone on and live rant about my thoughts of DK Bananza. I'm sure there's going to be a million things I think of this week that I'm like, I wish I said that in this. So stay tuned for our normal episode to catch those stray thoughts as well. We'll see you when we come back. See you then.